99X, this is the Morning X. It's Barnes and Leslie. I know why you're single. No, that's just the title of the book. We have the author here, Jennifer Miotke. I know why you are single, and yes, it's your fault.
Now, Jennifer, I do have a question for you because what's come up recently for some of my friends is this whole ghosting.
Yeah.
People will go out on a few dates. They think everything's really going well. And then all of a sudden, that person disappears. Why is that?
Well, because I think they're looking for a bigger, better deal. And just because somebody will date you or potentially have sex with you doesn't mean they want to have a relationship with you. So you didn't actually land that guy if he ghosted you.
That's true. I mean, I guess he was just dipping a toe in, trying to see how far he could get.
Wasn't the right one. Move
at the beginning, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, see if the grass is greener. All right, Jennifer, how about this? As an older guy, obviously I've got my fair share of baggage, 0 for 3 in the marriage department. My new girlfriend, 0 for 1 in that department with a couple of bad relationships. How do you learn from those mistakes, but yet not dig too deep into her past? In other words, I want to move on and move forward with our relationship, but how much of her baggage do I need to be in tune with?
In tune with her baggage. Well, now that the cat's out of the bag, I like the way now you're using her as a direct example.
Now she's got baggage.
What? No, I mean, no, everybody has baggage. I'm just trying to say how much of that do I have to look at while I'm trying to press forward with our relationship? That's all.
Yeah, is it carry on or can you check it?
There you go.
I mean, it sounds like you have more baggage than she does, no?
Well, there's a statement that's never been truer.
So, I mean, y'all all have baggage. I think that if you're 58, you trust yourself to know, you've had enough life experience to know when you can't deal with something. So I wouldn't be overly focused on it. And it depends on what the baggage is. I mean, is she a drug addict, an alcoholic, can't pay her bills? Because everybody's got baggage. You're not going to find somebody that doesn't have baggage if you're dating at 58.
Well, especially when they're older, right? Because you're talking about previous marriages, people that have children, different careers. So, of course, you got to sometimes let the past go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and trust yourself to know when something's dangerous for you.
You can find this book on Amazon. I know why you were single, and yes, it's your fault. Jennifer Miotke wrote it. You work at one-on-one, with one-on-one matchmaking at one-on-one matchmaking, and you see a lot of what's happening with this, group that we're talking about, late 30s, 40s, 50s. How much do you see that sex comes in to be such an early thing with these relationships where either side is like expecting it, and then you're seeing them bail from a relationship if they don't get it? Because I've heard stories when I've been around over there with you guys, because I've helped you with some marketing stuff in the past, in the years. And you guys have some stories about people. Is that a thing?
I mean, people having sex early. Yeah, I think what's happening
the drama that comes with it, or the bailing, or the guy saying, screw it, I'm out of here. She's not giving it up.
Yes, I think that happens. I think that happens more so on the apps than at our service, because we're kind of like their friend that they're dating through, and they're gonna treat them better if they know somebody in common.
So you hear about it with apps?
Yes.
Because you can be, in a silo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that, there's studies about this and podcasts about this. I think that women assume that if they have had a relationship with a guy that's more like a fling and they had sex with a guy, their bar is at that level and they want that kind of guy to settle down. But the reality of it is that guy didn't want to settle down with them, and they didn't want to settle down with them because they have too many options. So you may want to reconsider your bar with people that you actually had relationships with. That's your bar, not somebody you dated.
That's good.
Jennifer, help us out here for people listening that are kind of in this weird dating pool. Like, how do you do this big mind shift where you're ready to kind of take action for the things that you've done wrong in the past so that you can move forward and be in a healthy relationship?
Well, first of all, get my book. And I think that if you really are open to changing just 2 things that I address in the book, you'll find them. These walls, these barriers you've created about height and income bracket and where they live and all these things, that's what's holding you back, right? Or you want somebody that was like your situationship who never committed to you. That's your bar. I think adjusting your bar, because it's sadder and you get more bitter to keep staying single.
I like that word, situationship.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great word. Your book, and again, I know why you're single, and yes, it's your fault. You get into a lot in here about self-reflection.
Right.
And what can people listening Like, what would you recommend they do to kind of identify their faults without really falling into like a big self-pity cloud? I mean, that's a fine line if you're evaluating yourself out in the dating pool and trying to find love.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of heat for being too hard on women. So let's talk about something a lot of the men say to me. A lot of the men that are pretty established, they want a woman who is fit and petite. And I would just encourage you to Google what percentage of women are, petite, weigh 115 pounds.
Hold on,
fit.
These are men. These are successful. What did you call them?
Successful men.
Successful men. They come to you straight up and say, "I want petite." And what was the other one?
And fit.
And fit.
Yeah.
Which kind of go together, I guess.
Yeah.
They come directly out and say that.
Yes.
Wow.
They're attracted to this kind of body type.
I believe it.
What percentage of women fall into that?
I would guess like maybe, I don't know, less than 30.
Less than 30.
And so those men need to look in the mirror and say, am I bald? Am I a little bit fat? Right?
Yeah, look at yourself.
How tall am I? You know what I mean?
Over there checking boxes.
Do I make enough income to attract this kind of woman?
No.
So you just need to adjust your expectations. You could get a woman who's fit, but she has an average body. Just relax on the standards of. I think there's a lot of men out there that want this very fit, pretty girl, and it doesn't matter who all the guys are aiming for this girl, but this girl is only wanting to date the top 10% of guys.
So you're saying that those people need to step out of their fantasy. So the unrealistic expectations, you're saying 3 out of 10 women maybe meet this criteria. And those women, who are they targeting?
Yeah, they're targeting the tall guy with good hair who makes $350,000, who has great social skills.
Well, how many of those guys are there? Besides Crash.
Probably same thing, probably like 20%, but they're dating each other. And I think a lot of guys are staying single because they're looking, they want to date this hot girl who's beautiful, who doesn't know that she's beautiful.
Totally makes sense.
Right? Like, first of all, that girl probably knows she's beautiful.
I have to say, Barnes, Crash is the single one on this show. So I think, Crash, you need help anywhere? Any other questions for Jennifer that could help you in your relationship?
Judging from what was just said, I should be dating somebody that lives under Cheshire Bridge. That's...
Well, I'm just saying this because I feel like the book is aimed at women, and a lot of men are really hard on women's looks, and that seems to be kind of all that matters as long as the girl has a decent personality.
But hold on.
Let's talk about compatibility.
But you can't just paint that picture and say it's just guys that think that way. There are plenty of women.
There are, but I get a lot of heat for this. And do you know any guy that you have met in general that says, I'm cool with an average-looking woman?
Yeah, actually.
Really? Okay.
If they have a great personality. But the flip side of that would be the women who are chasing money. If you're going to call a spade a spade.
Oh, totally. I talk about them too. I'm getting a lot of heat from being so hard on the women. This book is probably 80% towards women.
Money and looks, neither of those are forever.
Right, exactly.
You're married, right?
Right.
Just checking. How long have you been married?
I've been married 14 years, and I met him through a matchmaker.
Through a matchmaker, which is what you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think this book is super helpful for a lot of people out there who need to definitely change their mindset and not fall into the same patterns over and over again.
Truth. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. This is on Amazon. Is it also in wherever else, like just Amazon or what?
Just Amazon for now.
Okay. I know why you are single, and yes, it's your fault. That's Jennifer Miotke. You can find her book out there, and you can find her here in town if you like to at one-on-one matchmaking, where you guys do your thing, and it's a much more precise science than the app.
Yes, and if you call me, I can tell you specifically what you're doing wrong.
And don't you guys have a podcast, too, where you talk dirt?
Yeah, we do. It's called Deep Dive Into Dating. I do it with Sarah Catherine a lot, and we have guests.
All right, that's wherever you get your pods. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Thank you.
Mic Drop. Hosted by former Navy SEAL Mike Ritlin. It's raw.
Any single time that you left the wire, you could lose 4 guys.
It's unfiltered.
That's the most horrible screaming I'd ever heard. Taking a hit on the chin, you want to pay it back?
It's tough talk from the top minds in their field.
Would I choose to not do our duty as military fighting men? No, I would not make that decision, without question.
Mic Drop. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.